On today's episode of Watch Share Go, we complete the fleet. There's a 3 series, there's a 5 series. We're gonna go grab the last one. What is going on, guys? I'm Watch Share Go, and today we're gonna address an issue from one of the older videos. Everyone's saying that this car is not a sport, and everyone is wrong. I ran the VIN just to make sure, because I didn't want to speak out of turn here. And of course, it has factory M-Tech wheel, factory sports seats, factory M-Tech suspension. It's all on the build sheet. So there's your answer. What's up, Gabe?
What's up, brah?
You ready to go drive one of the greatest cars ever built?
You know it. It's good to see you, brah.
Oh, good to see you. And we are back home with my new 2003 745Li. Not just the basic I, we are talking about the long wheelbase monster of a car. And I say it's the greatest car in the world because it's the luxury car that started the segment, the new segment of amazing luxury cars like the S550, the S600, of course the 7 Series, the A7, the S8s, all the monster cars that are just packed with technology. This one started it. And it's also probably one of the worst you could ever buy because it started it, and everything is always broken. And now I'm going to take the crown of the Hoopty King away from Tyler by demonstrating just how broken my new $1,900, yeah, that's a very unfortunate number. I tried really hard to find a cheap one, and this was the cheapest one I could find that ran and drove. So $1,900, very broken 745Li. Don't worry, the key clearly doesn't work. The battery's dead inside the key. I already ordered a replacement, it's on the way, because it's really hard to use a car with no keyless entry. You actually have to pull the key out of this, put it in the door, and then, hard to do with one hand, use it like a key. So now it's locked, now it's unlocked. You know what, it'll do the window down thing on the key. But let's not, because the driver window is a little sketchy. And we'll go ahead and hop in here with the secret BMW weapon. So when I used to work on these things, I had a lot of BMW problems, and I got to the point where I could diagnose them pretty quickly because I had the Diz and Diz Plus software, one of the hacked versions that runs on VMware, running on a laptop. Well, that laptop kind of aged out of my fleet, so I sold it off, losing my BMW software and the key for that software and all of that good stuff. It's one of the ones I bought on eBay. So last night I had to spend quite a few hours getting IMPA working, NCS Expert, all that good stuff. So then I found ISTA Plus, which is amazing and also still free. You can get it on Bimmer Geeks. So I had my cable, which is just FTDI, you know, the usual serial over USB adapter and all that good stuff. And I went ahead and hooked it up. I got everything installed and I could talk to this car. So right now it's time to hook it up and scan it. I also tried to hook it up to all the other cars in the fleet. The 5 Series, nothing. IMPA will respond to the E39, but I can't do any diag because it doesn't want to talk to the modules for some reason. And the 3 Series works perfectly because the E46 is relatively supported in ISTA Plus. So let's get to it. Key on, first position, OBD port here. Pop this guy out. While we're waiting on Windows to boot up, let's talk about this car. So, $1,900, it said it was perfect in the ad. It's the only issues were an evap code and an O2 sensor code. I don't believe that because I was driving home and the DSC light started flashing on the dash. And of course, if you know anything about these engines, they were some of the first ones to leave the throttle body open all the time and use the throttle body just for traction control, right? So the valves control the throttle with Valvetronic and all that good stuff. The throttle body stays wide open unless the car goes into traction control. Well, if the car is broken, which this one is, traction control turns on while you're going down the road and you have zero power. So I'm going down the road. As soon as I left, of course, there were no lights on except for check engine. I was like, everything's cool. DSC starts flashing, car shuts down, middle of the road. It's wide open throttle, of course, and it won't go anywhere. Eventually, it errored out completely, which is what I was hoping for. All the lights came on, ABS, brake, DSC, the trifecta, of course, and the car drove normally again. It went into limp mode, everything was perfect. The transmission ran great. It wasn't locked in the transmission limp mode. So I think the ABS module's bad. That's another 150 bucks I need to spend before I can really drive this car. So we're gonna load up our BMW tools folder here, start up ISTA, and that is starting. Things I noticed on the way home: there are no steering wheel controls. The transmission shift buttons don't work. Volume up, down doesn't work. The sport drive manual buttons, they don't work. Everything back here works, and my heated steering wheel doesn't work. And there's no blower motor. Another bad resistor. How did I hit 2 in a row? Okay, so ISTA just started up. Ongoing background processes. Please be patient.
A few moments later.
Operations, read out vehicle data, complete identification. Okay, so this thing's starting to talk to the car now. Let's talk more about the car. It's a base model, honestly. It's 745Li, big boy, amazing to sit in the back, but I don't have the fridge. I don't have the wine glasses. I don't have the power shades. I have some insanely dark tint. I mean, it's black inside here. It's hard to see out. I don't have I do have the cool phone module, I should say that. I do have navigation. I don't have comfort access. It's missing a few things. It does have the heated seats, it doesn't have massage seats, and it does have a heated steering wheel, although it doesn't work. So that's pretty much everything you need to know about this car. It does seem to run and drive well until you get the DSC error. This window is a little sluggish. I'm concerned about it. I'll probably have to put a regulator in it. No soft closed doors. You lose all the cool stuff if you don't have comfort access. So if you're buying one of these, just know it better be loaded. Also, the key battery being dead, of course, if you don't have comfort access, you have to cut the key open and solder in a new rechargeable battery. If you do have it, it's a 30-second replacement with a 2032, which is super unfortunate that this car didn't get a good key. This window, as Jake is demonstrating right now, is going into the pinch protection every time it tries to run. So as he will figure out, you must time it perfectly so it doesn't hit the very top so that the window doesn't roll itself back down, which is about right. You got it. All right, perfect. So it's sealed back up, but unfortunately it's upset. The tint's bad on this window too. It's completely purple inside. It gives you a nice purple hue. And for some reason, it looks like a dog ate the rear headliner. Ah, yes. I'm pretty sure that had to have been an animal. It's very...
It's the airbag.
Yeah, it's very, very weird. So I guess I have to put a headliner in this thing.
Ooh, yeah. What's all this?
Mirror, probably?
Oh, yeah, a mirror and it swivels?
That's super nice.
That's...
Gotta love how awesome the back of these things are. You know, my favorite is the Maybachs because they have speedometers in the back. And I mean, that's untouchable, honestly. So when I was growing up, this was my absolute hero car because it was all of the technology for the first time ever in a car. And you know, I loved this iDrive because it's in my era of things that I should really like. And as I've gotten older, I don't like it anymore. You know, I've always been like, even in Tyler's Rolls Royce, I love your iDrive, man. Like, it's the easy one to use. And then you get into the new ones with the good iDrive, and yeah, it makes the old ones look very, very, very bad. Not to mention it's slow. And I think the slowness is the biggest issue. Remembering how to do the split screen and all that stuff, it just takes you forever. Car data over here. Honestly, it just takes a while to remember how to use the thing altogether. So I did remember. I have a single CD player. It looks like, I don't think that's the changer. We've got those beautiful compartments for whatever you want right there. Of course, there's the phone controls. If you have the Motorola Time Port, I think it's a CT9000 or a CT8000. Yeah, there's your phone controls for that. It goes right here. This is an option apparently, the 6 CD holder. A ridiculous option when it should have just had a CD changer, but it doesn't. There's trunk lock and unlock. And that is where your phone sits. You slide your phone in and then just go like that and it snaps in. So that's kind of cool. Oh, look at that. There is the, it does have the cooled center console. There's a switch in there for that. Multi-zone climate control, all that good stuff. But honestly, I think I might get this car actually running and just dump it because it's an insane project. And to show you how insane it is, here's our issues. As you can see, we've got ECUs with fault, IHKA, CIM, I think that's communications integration module. The CD gateway shows that something's wrong. Maybe it had a CD changer because I think it's reporting a most issue. SIM error, SZL not responding. DME error, makes sense, that's the engine, and EGS error. And now for the fun part, display fault memory. Let's see what happens. It's showing 8, which isn't bad actually. So no communication possible with most gateway. That's kind of an issue. There might be most is the fiber optic ring that connects all the infotainment in the car. There's fiber going to the back and all that stuff. The problem is, instead of just doing some kind of simple bidirectional system, they used a ring topology. And if it breaks, it still works because it has one path, but at the same time, it's nonsense and it's broken. DME, variable intake system issue, DME, variable intake system, temperature warning, serial line timeout, deactivation, switch center, steering column. There was another, I scanned this last night, and for some reason it's not showing up now. There was an SCL issue, and the SCL is the steering wheel communication module. There's a module in the wheel and a module on the other side of the wheel, and it runs serial through a slip ring that's not the clock spring. I mean, this is just crazy how insanely built the 7 Series is. Of course, that slip ring is not working and causing an issue that keeps me from having any steering wheel controls. So that's pretty annoying and one of the things that really needs fixed. Couple other issues that are popping up: IHKA, automatic recirc error, control sensor, and auxiliary water pump. That's another error. This is one of the first ones that got the electric water pump. They can keep coolant running through the heater core when the car is off so it can stay warm inside. Apparently that's broken. So now that we've got the diagnostics out of the way, let's talk about the rest of the car. We're gonna hop up here in the front of it real quick. We have the V8, which of course is not the amazing reliable engine that's in those two. What we have here is what most people would call a nightmare. This is the 4.4 liter V8. As I was talking about, it uses the valve train to run the throttle instead of the throttle body. After it starts, the throttle body stays wide open. Of course, it doesn't on this one because DSC is broken. So this is the DSC module, and I assume it's our main failure that's causing everything to just go into limp mode. You have to take out about it looks like 6 screws right there. After you pull out this reservoir, slide that off and then send it in to get rebuilt, and that should solve the problem. Of course, my engine cover is missing. I'm not too worried about that. It's just a big piece of plastic that looks like the top of an engine. The seller said come back, and he had paperwork for about $4,000 of engine work that was just done, and they just got it running right. So hopefully that's true, and if they just did $4,000 of engine work, I mean, it doesn't go very far to BMW, but it might keep this thing in running order for a little while. I did let the car idle for 15 minutes after our test drive, and then I gave it a little bit of gas. Didn't see a cloud of smoke, so I think the valve stem seals are intact for now. That's also a good thing. It seems like a solid car once we sort out the wheel speed issue, which is being caused by the DSC computer. It's the Bosch 5.7, super common issue, and I think that thing's doing it too. So that's gonna cost me 150 bucks a car to get fixed, and of course you're out of the car for a little bit because the ABS module's removed, but that's okay, we'll get these things straightened out. I do think this thing needs hood struts. They're not the worst, but they're not great. So, speaking of hood struts, it needs a trunk strut. Oh, and it needs door struts. All these struts are bad. It has a strut in here that makes the door close softly, and that thing is super expensive, and it runs way back into the door. I think they're $150 each, and you have to get them from BMW. Maybe there's an $80 one that I found, but we'll see what's going on with that. There's another one that's about 2 feet long that holds up the non-comfort access trunk. So there's this huge like coil-over gas strut that holds this up because there's so much weight. And if you have a comfort access one with the power trunk, which is the greatest feature in the world, instead of having a giant like coil-over gas strut, you have a hydraulic pump with a hydraulic actuator that runs when you push the button to open and close the trunk, or I think they call it the tailgate in some of the literature. That's a pretty funny thing. That's way overcomplicated. Put an electric actuator in there or something. So, of course, BMW. Let's do the most important part. Here we go. All right, we're missing the 12 and the 13. And I wish this one was facing the other way because it should say BMW. Oh, it does. Okay, BMW side up, as we'd like it to be. It is, of course, missing the German warning triangle, although it has the diagram. Tow hook's gone and the screwdriver's gone, and I'm not actually sure what goes here. This one's a little bit different than all the others, so that's interesting. There was a tag light burnout. I already fixed that, and yeah, I've been working on it a little bit. I do need to get my blower and vacuum out and start cleaning out this car.
You're hydraulically actuated?
Yes, my hydraulically driven, it's a hydraulic motor connected to a vacuum motor, and of course there's an electric motor that's running the hydraulic pump, and that's my new vacuum system. It was built by BMW. It works great, believe me. It works great until it doesn't. When it doesn't, you have to replace the whole thing.
Right. Send it off, wait 4 weeks.
Ooh, power close though.
Nice.
It's got a pull down, that's always nice. Anyway, that is it for the 2003 745Li. I'm excited to own it. I think I can start calling myself one of the Hoopty Kings now, or the Hoopty King now, Tyler, because yeah, I've got a bunch of broken BMWs in the driveway. So, that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. We did already start working on this too. I grabbed the ozone machine because everyone smoked in again.
It does smell like a lot of ozone.
What's funny is that car smells amazing now. Like, open the door. It's It's delicious. I did throw the ozone generator in there real quick too, just in case. But it smells great, doesn't it?
It smells a lot better than it did.
Yeah, there's no cigarette smell now after like deep cleaning all the carpets and getting all the ash out and everything. Oh, that was a mess.
I didn't realize the ozone generator was working in there right now.
Oh, you took an ozone whiff? It's only been on for like a couple seconds here. So, but this is what this makes it all worth it, you know? Oh man, that is how I want to ride around.
That is nice.
What a seat. I've got my heat back here. I can just stretch out. It's like having a recliner in the back of your car. It's too bad it's missing all the cool features. I gotta fix that. Don't know what happened there. But it does have the amazing seats that Tyler's always talking about, where they tilt in the middle. So that's always really nice to have an absolutely perfect driver's seat.
It is. I like this big door compartment here too.
Dude, it's such a cool car.